You!
Me?
Yes, you! Do you want to be a part of history?
Huh?
Yes, you do! We at Holes and Poles are making the most not safe for work game ever. It has the best sex and sex stuff. The naughty stuff. It's more real than real tits. It will have over 69 hours of content. All we need to make your cum dreams come true is $69.69.69 for the development cost. So, will you be a part of history and join us for our campaign? There's rewards too.
So, I have some questions. What qualifications do you have? Have you ever made a game before? Do you have any proof that you're not just talking out of your ass?
Shh, shush, darling. That's not important.
But...
Let your head do the thinking.
Okay.
69 years later.
Hey fiends, it's Marceline, the second-class business degree Femboy man here, and I'm back talking about another topic of the video game industry. And the topic we're going to talk about in this video is Kickstarter. For a long ass time, I heavily wanted to talk about Kickstarter, because in terms of business practices, it's quite different. And since 2009, the service has been booming. It's quite popular. Like, really popular. Plus, it's something I've personally never took part in. So for me, it's been really interesting doing research and taking a closer look at Kickstarter. As always, these videos are non-judgmental. I'm not here to shame anyone who uses Kickstarter. My objective of these videos is to present the information. That is all. You fiends are free to use the information as you please. Or not. I'm not Mr. High Morals. I'm not your daddy. Don't look up to me. I'm worthless trash, okay? This is an education piece mixed in with my opinion. Now, I have to give a disclaimer. This video is not sponsored by Kickstarter. I need to be transparent because even though I give heavy criticism to the service, I also give it a lot of praise. They did not approach me. They did not offer me a deal. This is an education piece mixed in with my opinion. Plus, I will never take a sponsorship deal. I want to be able to express myself without any restrictions. With that said, let the video commence! What is Kickstarter? The short answer is an individual or a group of people have an idea for a creative project, but lack the funding. They can use the Kickstarter service to promote their project and start a funding campaign. Then individuals who discover the project and take a liking to it can become a backer and fund it. Once the project has reached its funding goal, it can officially be worked on, and sometime later the project will be made and it will be distributed. In addition, Kickstarter isn't exclusive to video game projects. Other types of projects that use the service are art, comics, tech, food, film, music, and many more. Now, the big PP answer is that Kickstarter has a lot more complexity to it than just a service used to fund projects. So, let me explain. When an individual wants to support a project, there are different tier levels depending on how much they want to fund it. On the lower end, this could be receiving the video game for free and being credited, or on the higher end going to a party with the developers and getting a ton of physical goodies. This is dependent on those who are leading the project, because they are in control of what awards they want to give out. I'm not joking when I say this, some tiers are like $10,000 to have dinner with a dev man? That's a lot of money. But it's all optional. Backers are never obliged to pledge a high amount. And come on, you can have a dinner with anyone for free.
I'm having a free dinner with my friends Mega Man and Mr. Kenju. Wait a second, they're not real.
In addition, the project themselves can evolve thanks to Kickstarter. This is one of the reasons why Kickstarter is so unique. Sometimes a project can receive way more funding than they originally intended. This allows the project to expand. This is legit really cool. To my knowledge, this happens quite a lot in Kickstarter. It's also a reversal of the practice of video games getting DLC or expansion packs, usually after the sales of a video game. Then there is a possibility of more content being made for it. With Kickstarter, the project itself can potentially do that before it is distributed and put into the market. The best example of this is Lisa the Painful. The project got more than doubled what the solo dev wanted, and they literally made another game as an expansion, which is amazing. This was only possible due to Kickstarter. Lastly, Kickstarter is a service that allows different sizes of projects to be funded. There are projects that are small, like indie games, a few music pieces, or maybe it's a massive AAA game-sized one. There's so many, and I think that's pretty cool, but this does mean that the time it takes for the project to be finished and distributed can vary. Sometimes it's a couple of months, other times it's years. Why do creators use the Kickstarter service? On paper, Kickstarter sounds amazing for independent artists who have ideas and who are motivated. The service itself can help artists bring their art to life. Unfortunately, due to the mainstream entertainment land, it's difficult to be independently creative. If you don't follow what's trending, if your art is not safe for work, if your art goes against the norm, it can be really tough to bring your art to life and get an audience to view it. Plus, due to the toxic climate surrounding the different types of industries, including the video game one, and the evil known as capitalism, if you are a woman, a person of colour, a minority, a feminist, if you have a disability, or if you are a member of the LGBT+ community, the odds are stacked against you even more. It becomes harder to create, much harder. Like seriously, if you look at the history of the video game industry and look who make games and who the games are marketed towards, for a long time it's 99% been cis straight white men. I know in the modern age it's gotten better with more diversity and indie studios popping up, but due to the structure of the industry, the ways of the past still loom its shadow over those who want to be a part of it. It may never truly go away. Plus, trying to get funding from a publisher is insane because if they can't guarantee a profit, they won't take the risk. To use a personal example, with my YouTube channel, I've been making videos since 2018, and 4 years later, I've only managed to get over 200 subs by simply being myself. It's not easy at all to be independent, and in the world we live in, it gets harder. However, Kickstarter is a hella nice alternative. It allows creators to be themselves and make their art. Yes, they do need to get the funding first, but as a service, Kickstarter is giving them the chance to do so, and that's wicked. It allows all creators from many different backgrounds to make their dream project come to life. Plus, there is a benefit of receiving funding for their project up front. Creators don't need to worry about getting income from other methods such as working multiple jobs, opening commissions, or quitting your jobs and remortgage your houses? What the fuck, man? Yo, fiends, for real, don't do that. I know they made Cuphead and Cuphead's all like, ooh, but seriously, that's a dumb thing to do, and it's really risky. Back on track, the point is for a creator having the funding they need upfront saves them a lot of hassle and stress. The creators also have the freedom to make their art their way. The sad reality is publishers nowadays really get into the private parts of the studios who are making the game, and pressure them to add stuff which potentially could lead to more revenue, you know, for that money, but at the cost of the studio's artistic vision. Add loot boxes, add microtransactions, no, that's too creative, change that so it's less offensive, we need to make sure this is appealing to as many people, for marketing reasons. No dark themes, no nudity, not safe for work is not allowed, no diversity, and on and on and on and on. This happens in the movie industry too. This is at the cost of the art itself. These stuff do affect the video game and any other creative project. It's kind of depressing that only a few AAA studios such as Team Ico still retain all creative freedom. Where was the Konami who gave freedom to Team Silent to make their games? Anywho, little vent over, so yeah, Kickstarter lets the artists make their art. No interference. Anyone can use the service. Just follow the rules and you're good to go. Finally, Kickstarter is a service that's been around since 2009, and it's trusted by a lot of individuals. It's a service that works. If I may say, if I were to use a service to fund an art project, I will most likely, definitely, with confidence, use Kickstarter. Plus, the website layout is simple and easy to use. So, I know, I'm simping hard for Kickstarter. Don't worry, I'll beat on its meat later in the video. Because seriously, it has issues. A lot of them. Why do individuals back projects on Kickstarter? There are many factors to consider why people back projects on Kickstarter. Just like with my video on pre-orders, people do stuff for many reasons. We call this consumer behavior. I'm not going to rehash it here again. Watch that video. To be brief, there are many elements in our lives that affect what and why we consume stuff. Now, back to why people fund Kickstarter projects. Firstly, being part of a Kickstarter project is exciting because you're not alone. There are others who are also funding it. The individual is now part of a community. They get updates and emails together, discussions and forums are made, and it feels wholesome that people are coming together to fund a project. It's an awesome feeling. They feel like they're part of something. They've helped make the project come to life. In addition, when projects are made, it has a credit section for the backers, and it's a hella nice feeling seeing their name on it. That's something unique too. In terms of business practices, we buy and consume stuff like 99% of the time. But Kickstarter allows the individual to be part of the project before it's commercially available to be purchased. It drives them to wanting the project to succeed. Next, when backing a project, there are rewards. Sometimes you get a free copy of the video game, physical goods, soundtracks, or dinner. Okay, cereal though. This of course isn't the biggest selling point to back a project. The focus should be the support part, but it's still a reason. And sometimes, due to a reward tier, a backer may pledge even more. Another reason is the project is appealing to them. This could be due to the pitch made by the creators. Maybe it's just the visual look of the project. The point is there are so many ways the project can be appealing to an individual. A smaller selling point is that when you back a project, it's a one-off pledge. There are no monthly subscriptions. With an era where it's becoming the norm and it's going nowhere because it lets companies milk money off the customers through their bad services. You know, all for that money. Disclaimer, a lot of content creators use a subscription-based service like Patreon, and there are lots of people who use it to support creators. I do it too. It's not all bad. So like, a lot of individuals miss the one-off payment system. Once they're a backer on a Kickstarter project, there's no obligation to put additional funding on top. And yeah, people like that. It's nice. Occasionally, a well-known figure uses a Kickstarter service. Fans of them will flock to their project, and due to loyalty will fund literally anything they are part of. Finally, Kickstarter is a nice alternative to support creators, when other practices aren't as reliable. I don't want to talk too much about it here because it deserves their own video, but to name a few, when buying a pre-owned video game, that means none of the money goes to the devs. Voice actors and actresses work hard and are seriously underappreciated and seriously deserve better pay. Or how much devs and AAA companies get paid versus publishers, or the issue of crunch hour. And there are way many more issues. I may have to make multiple videos because it's so fucked. But the point is, Kickstarter is an alternative and the money raised will go towards the creators. It's guaranteed they will get the money. Lastly, of course, it's been around since 2009 and it's a trusted service. With the research I did, comparing it to other Kickstarter-esque services, it's the best one. I like the refund policy as well. It needs to be fully funded or every backer gets a refund, and that's nice. Issues. The many issues of Kickstarter. There's quite a bit to cover and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, so let's start! Kickstarter makes it clear that this isn't a service used to fundraise a charity. It's a service that brings creations to life. Well, in my opinion, this feels like an investment type service. You may say, okay, backer, investor, fundraiser, there's no difference, yeah? Well, actually, there is. Investors are stakeholders. To give a little lecture, stakeholders are individuals who have an interest in a business. To give you an example, if you like to shop at a supermarket, well, you're a stakeholder since a customer has an interest in the business. You have a relationship with the business. To go into a little more depth, there are many types of stakeholders such as suppliers, government, and investors who have their own unique relationship with the business. Hopefully you will add up where I'm going with this. Using Kickstarter, backers are not customers in my opinion, they are investors. In the business world, investors have rights and draw up contracts. Investors are pretty anal about how the project is going. They want updates, they want feedback, they want walk-in visits, meetings, they want to know how the money they put in is being handled. Some investors put big PP money into projects. They hire consultants to make reports on the risks of the investment. And now with Kickstarter, they do nothing. They give all the power to the creators. They choose what, when, and how they update the backers. As a backer, you could send an email, tweet them asking for more information, but legally, they can ignore you. Not even in the rules does it mention anything about this. I am aware that most people can't afford consultants, and they ain't so anal about getting updates regularly. That's true and all, but in my opinion, Kickstarter should enforce a rule that creators should give a solid update on a timely basis on the creation process. If I were to invest into something with my own money, I would like updates with as much information with as much detail as possible. It has to be said, I'm not asking updates every day or the creators replying to every little thing, because Kickstarter, well, you get a shit ton of backers. They need to spend time making the project than answering every little thing. All I ask is a timely update maybe once every 2 weeks or something the creators are happy with. It doesn't even have to be info heavy. I say this because some projects go silent for a long ass time, and it's all legal, and for a backer, this can be really worrying. So like the next issue is a massive one, so let's get it out of the way. 99% of the funding go on a Kickstarter project are misleading and is a lie. Allegedly. I have to say, allegedly, because legally my ass will get a spanking. Why do I say this? Because no matter how much a business plans, or how precise their spending is, shit happens and stuff changes all the time in the business world. I do need to explain something first. Businesses use cash flow charts and statements. These tools are used to examine money flowing in and out of the business, such as employees, income, sales, gross profit, net profit, taxes, loans, supplies, so on and so forth. Businesses also use it to make adjustments for the future. We call this a cash flow chart forecast. For example, a CAF uses a cash flow chart for the first week of the month. They planned how much they wanted to spend and the week happens. But on that Tuesday, they had a greater demand and needed urgent supplies, and it led to the cafe spending more money on that day. Planning out the spending for the second week of the month using a cash flow chart forecast, they will add a little more spending on supplies for the Tuesday. This is a simple example, but it explains how businesses manage money. That's what business is. Things change all the time. You can never truly know what will happen. Maybe on the Wednesday the cafe had barely any demand. In addition, the cash flow chart forecast isn't only used for the upcoming week. Businesses use it for the month or even the year. It is only a prediction, but it's still useful. I bring this up because I think Kickstarter should make creators make a cash flow statement forecast as a requirement to use their service. Now you may ask, how does the business world connect to Kickstarter? Because projects change and develop. They might have a plan, but maybe they wanted to add another level in the video game. Maybe they want to make the project bigger. Maybe due to getting more than their funding go, they can add more to it. So now, why do I say I am pretty confident that, allegedly, most funding goes is misleading and a lie? It's one thing to get funding to make the project, but what about shipping the project? What about making and shipping the physical awards? What about the fee they need to pay to Kickstarter? That means not all of the money funded is going to the project itself. What about needing more time for the project? And the funding's run out. Oh wait, that means the team who are making the project need to be paid for the additional work. Unless they won't get paid and have to do the extra work for nothing, which is very, very unethical. How about the creators deciding that they want voice actors and actresses to be in their video game? That means they need to hire them. They need to pay them. There are so many elements that come into funding, especially for the video game projects due to how much work goes into making them. No matter how confident the creators are, things change and shit happens. It's part of the creative process. To give you a personal example, I commissioned both Pixie Willow and Xenovia Star. By the way, support these creators, links in the description, support them now! And the work they made for this video is amazing. It's the best part of the video, to be honest. But let's say I suddenly wanted more from them. I can't just go, I need to make changes to my video due to creative reasons. Could you do the additional work for free because I paid you already? No, that would be unethical. I would need to go through the process of commissioning them again. And if you think because changes happen in a project and devs have to do the extra work for free, I'm sorry, that's unethical, and that's pretty ugly too. Just saying. So, if the creator wanted to do more for their project due to creative reasons, or something happened, they need more funding to get it done. As much as this is an issue, I think what makes this issue 10 times worse is that Kickstarter itself has no checks in place. I did a lot of research, and I could not find anything about the service doing any checks on if the funding amount presented by the creators is accurate. And that's bad, because creators can pretty much get a number out of their ass and state that's how much they need for the project. I am aware the creators have to fulfill their promise, and I understand there are so many projects and Kickstarter can't do insane super checks on everything. So how about introducing a new rule that the creators have to show something? Maybe their own cash flow chart statements forecast, maybe? Or a business type plan to get a rough idea for spending costs. That way, at the very least, they can check the numbers and make the funding go somewhat accurate. So even when changes happen, at the very least Kickstarter can check and nothing sus is happening on their site. Because on their website, they're just like, make sure the funding go is right. Build trust with backers by being honest. But let me just, how would you know they're being honest? If you don't do the checks, especially on bigger projects. Kickstarter cares more about the marketing of the project and how accurate the funding goal is on the project. Okay, I am being a tough and sassy femboy on this one, because backers are getting misled all the time with, allegedly, false funding goal numbers. And you fiends should say, but Marceline, who cares? If we get the project in the end, that's all that matters. Because backers, in my opinion, are investors, and they have the right to know as much information as possible and for that information to be accurate before backing a project. And honestly, Kickstarter could do more to prevent scams. Now, I'm not that worthless. I do understand by asking for creators to give a plan to Kickstarter, it sounds like a publisher or bank wanting a plan before they give away their money. And you know, those two tend to be really super anal about it. And I don't want Kickstarter to be tough or super mean. Just something to get a general idea. That's all. As a final point on this issue, some creators use subscription-based service, such as a Patreon, instead of Kickstarter. Sometimes their projects or video game need a constant flow of income than a one-off. Yes, Patreon isn't perfect, and it's totally okay for devs to use it over Kickstarter. I may need to make a video about it one day. Phew! Moving on to the next issue. An issue that I see a lot is some of the creators who pitch an idea for their project don't have the skills to work on the project itself. This by itself isn't a problem, because they can use the funding to hire people who do have the skill. But the issue rises when it's a massive project, like dozens of MMO Kickstarter scams, that are huge, and it's like two dudes going, hell yeah, we can build this giant game. 2-3 people building a giant ass game? They want a huge amount for funding? I don't know. Sounds like they want to pocket that money. And don't you worry, I will be talking about those MMO scam issues in its own part. In addition, nostalgia also plays a factor into this. Let's pick a random Kickstarter project. I know, Shenmue 3. When that was announced to be kickstarted, Yu Suzuki, the creator of Shenmue, came out and was like, I want to make the third game of Kickstarter. I can build it. And people were like, hell yeah. Now, technically, he's kind of fibbing because him alone, he never had the skill to build the previous games, or even the third one he's claiming. There was a team. Sega got behind the other games. Yu Suzuki in the Kickstarter video is being manipulative. In this Kickstarter video, he's lying to you to hit the nostalgia in your hearts. Let's be clear. I'm not saying he has no skills in making video games, because he does. What I am saying is that he's misleading you into thinking that he was the star child of the previous games, when there was a team involved. But you know, He's the center of attention. There was a team. He is the creator, but he never soloed it. There's no I in team. I hate it when people don't give full credit and act like they're the special one. They're the chosen one who made the game. Anyway, I spent enough on this one. Next. Sometimes the end product comes out poorly made. Oh, hello Mighty Number 9. I didn't see you there. Hey, you were funded through Kickstarter, right? Oh my, they're doing an associate thing too. Oh look, it's Mr. Kenji, who worked on the Mega Man games and wants to make a game like it. Isn't he known to be the designer for Mega Man? And it's a half-truth. A team of people worked on the design of Mega Man, and Akira Kitamura was the artist who created Mega Man. So Mr. Keiji is just a piece of the Mega Man pie? He's all like, let's build it together. That really doesn't build confidence in my opinion. Why would you give him money? I'd rather give my money to the OG Mega Man game developers than one of them to make a game. Shit, this was about poor end product, sorry, totally sorry. When Mighty Number 9 came out, people were not happy, saying it had issues such as poor visuals, lackluster level designs, long ass loading times, bugs, and the shit show called the Wii U version. Oh dear god. Some even claim that it misses the point of what made Mega Man games so good in the first place. They called it a Mega Man imposter and a ripoff. What the fuck, man? It's like Mega Man was made by a team, and not one man who wants your money to recreate that type of game without the same team. I have to say this again. I need to emphasize this. The lead creator of the project, Mr. Kenju, said the game was meant to be a Mega Man successor, a game like Mega Man, but it became a Mega Man ripoff, imposter, and misses what makes a good Mega Man game according to most people who played it. The irony! In my opinion, that tells me Mr. Kenju doesn't get what makes a good Mega Man game. Like, there was a whole team who made it, and not just one man. I really do recommend you looking into this because oh my god, that was a shit show. In a nutshell, end product is not guaranteed to be good, and it can be underwhelming. There's always that risk. Another issue that can occur with Kickstarter is awards not being given out properly. This tends to mainly involve bigger projects. Kickstarter state that awards need to be given out. For the most part, it's just delays, and it's not often this happens. It is a small issue, but it's still something to be careful of. Another issue is missing deadlines, and it's a common one. A project must have an estimate date for when it's ready, and if delays happen, creators should tell the backers. Legally though, they don't have to. As a creator myself who makes stuff, this is totally understandable. Things happen, and delays will spank your butt. For example, the Kickstarter for Omori, the creators stated it should be ready roughly by 2015, and well, the game came out in 2020, 5 years late. Oof. I need to say this, I don't want to be mean or take a jab at the devs. Being very charitable, they most likely needed those extra years to polish the game, or maybe something serious happened, but on the Kickstarter page, they did give out a date, and they missed it. Omori, according to many, is a great game, and I'm glad it has a happy ending, and is a good example of a Kickstarter project that was a success, but it's sad they missed the intended release date. That totally sucks. Again, I don't have any ill will towards them, so yeah, Omori as a project has a happy ending, but this does not apply to other projects. My point is, it does suck when you expect something and not receive it on the day. There's no guarantee. In my opinion, it's up to the backers if they want to show kindness to the creators. Honestly, maybe projects shouldn't have a deadline. Shit happens, and for real, there are way worse issues than a project missing a deadline or having delays. Next, some projects are way too big, and the amount of work to create them, especially with a small team, isn't reasonable. Yep, here is the MMO scams. They are massive. Really massive. The funding they want would never cover it. The teams are just too small. Again, I partly blame Kickstarter for not having checks, and I'm not going to rehash what I said, but to give you one example, Chronicles of Area, 8 million raised. The project's made so many bold claims. It goes on and it doesn't end. It's like they're pitching a whole new world. Until this day this video is uploaded, it's still being made. For real, what they're promising, 8 million isn't enough. They're promising a whole new world. Look at the alpha. Oh my god. Okay. I need to get serial here. There are so many MMO scams like this. Search it on YouTube. It's like a new one pops up every day. They pull the heartstring on individuals and getting them hyped. I do put a little blame on the individuals who don't step back and think about if the project is too big or too good to be true. But this happens so much. The creators are scummy for doing such a thing. You got to be careful who you want to back. And a honourable mention, issue, or whatever you want to call it, goes to creators twisting the promised reward for more money. Shenmue 3 was originally planned to go to Steam, but then switched to the Epic Store for that money. Wow, what a shitty move, greedy dumbass. Is Kickstarter unethical? So, I personally think that even though Kickstarter has issues, and there is definitely room for improvement, a lot of room, I do genuinely believe that it is an important service. For the most part, it is ethical. It is a service that offers an alternative to the mainstream. In my opinion, that's so important for indie artists, especially those who struggle in the toxic climate surrounding the video game industry. Yeah, there are bad eggs who use it, but there are more genuine creators who use Kickstarter to bring their art to life. As someone who has a soft spot for indie developers and champions more diversity in studios and wants more women, feminists, people of colour, minorities, those with disabilities, and the LGBT+ to create video games. And Kickstarter helps them make their own projects come to life without dealing with the toxic bullshit in the industries. Now, from the backers' point of view, it's a bit more messy, because I do believe their investors, meaning their stakeholders, they deserve more rights and insights on the project. The idea of supporting an indie project is amazing, it's just the bad eggs who get away with scamming backers. Kickstarter needs to do more to give trust and insurance to the backers. For the most part, it's totally ethical to be a backer. If I may, I want to give some advice for those who may back a project. You may take it or leave it, so yeah. I do like Kickstarter, and I hope I can make sure others use it safely. Tip 1. Do some research on the creators of the project. Try to find out more information about them. Have they made anything else? Who is the spokesperson? Do they make any claims? Are they lying about who they are? Make sure you know their history. Now, sometimes there are creators that only have a little bit of information about them out there, and they can be genuine, but still, just be careful. The more you know about them, the better you can make the judgment call if you want to support them and their project. Obviously, don't just read their info on the project page. Do external research. Tip 2. Don't let nostalgia/hype get to you. Sometimes those who pitch the project have been linked to your childhood in some way. I'm not saying you can't support them, but don't let your nostalgia lose your focus. You need to have a clear head and have good judgment before you back a project. Tip 3. Use common sense, dumbass. If a project is promising a whole new world, and it's too good to be true, and they have a tiny dev team, take a step back and think about the process of the project being made. Is it possible for them to make it as they promised? So many MMO scams promise a whole new world, and people keep falling for it. Tip 4. Don't put too much money into it. Yes, the more you pledge, the better the reward is, but a little is okay too. Your pledge is not worth less because you pledge less. Every pledge counts. And yes, but dinner! You don't need to pledge 10k for a dinner date. Every pledge matters, but it will sting more if you pledged a lot to something that ends up being a scam or a poor product. Be careful with your money. Tip 5. Stick to smaller projects. They tend to take less time and resources to make versus bigger ones. Of course, smaller ones aren't immune to delays or issues, but overall there is less risk involved when backing them. Sexy tip 69. Be wary of the funding goal for the project. In my opinion, those numbers are false and misleading. Allegedly. Remember, stuff changes all the time. That number could be accurate, or it could have came out of an ugly arsehole. Remember that the process of making a project is tough, especially for video games. Also, apply tip-free lube. Use some common sense. Don't forget, they spend money on stuff that doesn't involve the project itself, like physical awards. Tip 7. Give a hard think about the project. Is it something you can fully get behind? This one is hella subjective, but just give it a good think about it. Make sure you feel confident about pledging. Final tip number 8. Be cautious about video game projects, because they are so inconsistent. They range from great, to okay, to bad, to scam. There's simply more risk with video game projects. Use all previous tips with video game projects. Kickstarters I regret not backing. Take me back in time. Before we go to the conclusion of the video, I wanted to share with you things 2 successful Kickstarter projects. I want to bring them up because in my opinion they are works of high art, and it's all thanks to Kickstarter they were brought to life, and I would have loved to have backed them. In my opinion, these 2 are like the sword and the shield of Kickstarter as a service. They represent the good that the service brings. If anyone tells me Kickstarter should be removed, then I'll always bring these 2 projects up. They are Lisa the Painful and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. They are both small projects. They both received more than their funding goal. They both went far and beyond by creating more than they originally planned. This was only possible thanks to Kickstarter. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is free on YouTube with multiple episodes, and Lisa is a very cheap game on Steam. Little warning, they do get dark and have mature themes, especially Lisa. That game is very dark. I don't know if I can truly recommend Lisa the Painful due to how dark it is, but it's a powerful game, and at the very least, it's worth trying out. Conclusion time. So yeah, I hope this video was informative and I hope you fiends learnt more about Kickstarter. On paper, it sounds amazing for the creator and for the backers. It has legitimate flaws, and it can be abused. However, I do believe it's an important service. It does help projects that would never even stand a chance in the mainstream to boom, and to flourish, and to strive. Despite its issues, if this was removed or banned, in my opinion the video game industry would be in a worse state. Nay, the artist world would be. Having a service that allows art to be made that the mainstream wouldn't is cool as fuck. With that said, the video is coming to an end, but wait, there's more. As always, I never asked for likes, subs, comments, shares because I believe if the video itself is good enough, then they should come naturally. But when it comes to other content creators who contribute in my videos in big or small ways, I will always give full credit and shout them out. Pitsy Willow is a voice actress who starred in the opening sketch of this video, and she is super talented. She does both not safe for work and safe for work content. The quality of her work is absolutely outstanding, and she is an OG. This is personally the first time I ever commissioned her, and the process was really smooth. She has a very professional and easy to use form. Plus, she's wonderful to work with. So what are you waiting for? Support her! Zenobia Star is the artist who I commissioned to make the avatar sprite for my thumbnail, and it's hella cute. She also made my channel icons too, which I absolutely adore. She's wonderful to work with, her art is brilliant, and she totally deserves more support. Both Pitsy Willow's and Zenobia Star's links are in the description, so fiends, please support their work. They create high quality content, and their rates are really good. Their roles in this video are small ones, but honestly, they're the best part of the video. Now I'm giving out an order. Show them some love. Go support them. Commission them. They deserve it and much more. They're super talented content creators. Support Pitsy Willow. Support Zenobia Star. Go to their links. Check them out now. With that said, this is Marceline saying goodbye.